When the power grid fails, a clock starts ticking. But for many, it isn't a 72-hour or 1-week clock. The most critical countdown ends at just 4 hours. Why 4 hours? Because that's the tipping point where denial often turns into panic. Bad decisions get made, and critical failures begin. We're going to walk through the first 8 hours of a blackout to expose the psychological traps and practical mistakes that can trip people up and show you how to stay in control from the very first second. The first few hours of a major power outage are the most critical, but they're also the most misunderstood. The reason so many people can start to break down around that 4-hour mark is that two different clocks are running, a psychological one and a practical one. Psychologically, our brains are wired to resist the idea of a catastrophe. It's a cognitive bias called normalcy bias. This is that little voice in your head, the dangerous subconscious belief that everything will go back to normal any minute now. It's a defense mechanism telling you the power will be back on soon, that it's just a flicker, that it's no big deal. But while your brain is downplaying the threat, a very real practical clock is ticking down on your resources. The systems that define modern life start to decay almost right away. Food in your fridge begins to warm, communication networks get jammed, and access to money can vanish. The 4-hour mark is often where the comfortable illusion of normalcy shatters against the hard reality of systems failing. That's the moment denial can give way to panic because the window for easy preparation has slammed shut. Understanding this is the key to not just surviving, but taking control from the start. The first hour, the psychological failure. The moment the lights go out, your single greatest threat isn't the dark. It's that voice in your head saying, "Don't worry, this happens all the time." That's normalcy bias, and it's responsible for more failures in a crisis than almost anything else. It's the instinct to just wait and see. You might check on the neighbors, look out the window, or light a candle, assuming you'll be making coffee in the morning like always. Studies showed that a huge number of people, sometimes as many as 80%, show normalcy bias in a disaster, underestimating the danger and delaying action. That inaction is a huge mistake. The first hour isn't a grace period, it's the golden hour. It's your uncontested window to take the first, most vital steps of your plan before outside pressures start piling on. While others might be frozen in disbelief, you need to be moving with purpose. The solution here is a mental trigger. You have to pre-plan a response that kicks in automatically the second the power is out for more than, say, 60 seconds. This isn't a moment for debate. The trigger flips a switch in your mind from passive to active. Your plan, your checklist starts now. The first thing on that checklist is purely psychological. Acknowledge what's happening. Say it out loud to yourself or your family. The power is out, we're activating our plan, and assuming it won't be back for at least 24 hours. This simple sentence breaks the spell of normalcy bias. It's a conscious choice to reject wishful thinking and embrace action. You're now on your own timeline, not the power company's. This mental shift is the foundation for everything that follows. While everyone else is wasting their most valuable resource, time, you're already steps ahead, calm and in control. Hours 2 through 4, the practical and communication failure. As we move past that first hour, the physical world begins to catch up with the reality of the situation. This is where those who were paralyzed by normalcy bias get their first real wake-up call. The systems we take for granted don't just fail, they can crumble with surprising speed. First, and most critically today, communication starts to die. Cell towers need backup power. While some have generators, many rely on batteries that offer a limited window, sometimes just 2 to 8 hours. But even before they go dark, the networks get instantly congested. Everyone is trying to call someone or get online to see what happened. The result is a digital traffic jam. Text messages might get through for a bit, but voice calls and data become unreliable almost immediately. This creates an information vacuum, which your brain will quickly fill with anxiety and fear. At the same time, your access to digital money freezes. ATMs go offline. Credit card readers at grocery stores and gas stations stop working. Your ability to buy things is now limited to the physical cash in your pocket. Anyone who suddenly realizes things are serious and rushes to the store is met with a double shock. They can't pay, and the stores are getting crowded and frustrating fast. Then comes a quieter, but just as urgent failure inside your own home. Your refrigerator becomes a ticking bomb for your food. An unopened fridge will only keep food at a safe temperature below 40 degrees Fahrenheit for about 4 hours. After that, the risk of getting sick from eating the contents goes up. Every time you open that door to just check, you speed up the clock. This 2 to 4 hour window is the wall. The loss of communication makes you feel isolated. The inability to buy things creates a sense of powerlessness. For the person who did nothing in hour 1, these cascading failures are overwhelming. This is where panic can take hold, leading to bad decisions, like a useless trip to a packed store or wasting phone battery trying to refresh a newsfeed that will never load. Your solution is to calmly run your first 4-hour action plan while others are starting to freak out. First, secure your water. If you're on a municipal system, the pumps providing water pressure are electric. While many systems have backups like generators or water towers, they can fail or pressure can drop. To be safe, immediately fill any available containers, and if you have a bathtub, fill it up. This water can be used for sanitation or later purified for drinking. Second, use your communication plan. Send a short, pre-written text to your key contacts, something like, "Grid down, we're okay, and using our plan. We'll contact when able, stay safe." This is efficient and confirms your status without clogging the network. Then, put your phone on low power or airplane mode. It's a tool to be used strategically, not a lifeline to be clutched desperately. Third, resist the urge to join the chaos outside. Your home is your base. Your prep was done weeks ago. Heading out into a world of jammed roads and stressed out people is a risk, not a solution. Focus on securing your own space. Take stock of your food, starting with what's in the fridge. Plan your next meal to use up the most perishable items from the fridge before they go bad. By hour 4, you should be calm and secure, operating from a position of strength, while the outside world is just starting to grasp the scope of the problem. Hours 4 to 8, the resource and security miscalculation. As darkness falls and the reality of a long outage sets in, the new wave of mistakes begins. These are the errors made by people who might have handled the initial shock, but now start to mismanage their resources. This period is all about miscalculating long-term needs versus short-term comforts. The most common mistake? Wasting battery life. People compulsively check their phones for a signal that isn't there, or use the flashlight app, which drains power way faster than a real flashlight. That battery power is a precious resource you might need later, and burning through it now is a critical error. Another frequent failure is poor food discipline. After 4 hours, the refrigerator is no longer keeping food safe. Many will either risk eating spoiled food or, just as wastefully, keep opening the freezer to see if things are still frozen. A full freezer can stay at a safe temperature for up to 48 hours, but only if it stays shut. Every time you break that seal, you're losing hours of preservation time. Light and security also become a big deal. Without a plan, people fumble in the dark, using inefficient lights like their phone screen, or even worse, open-flame candles, which are a serious fire hazard. This lack of a good lighting plan is disorienting and stressful. An unlit, disorganized home feels unsafe, which just adds to the anxiety. For some people, this is where things can get truly dangerous. Individuals who rely on electric medical devices, like CPAP machines or oxygen concentrators, face a terrifying countdown as their backup batteries run low. For these vulnerable groups, the situation can escalate dramatically as the 8-hour mark approaches. The solution here is a resource and security lockdown. Your focus shifts from immediate actions to long-term preservation and safety. First, enforce strict power discipline. Charge essential devices with your pre-charged power banks, and then turn them off or put them in airplane mode. Your main lights shouldn't be your phones. Instead, use battery-powered lanterns for general light and headlamps for tasks. This keeps your hands free and puts light exactly where you need it. Second, lock down your food resources. Tonight's meal should use the most perishable items from your fridge. After that, consider the refrigerator compromised. You can even put a piece of tape over the fridge and freezer doors. It's a simple physical reminder to everyone not to open them, which helps preserve the cold in the freezer for as long as possible. Third, start a security and low-light routine. Lock all your doors and windows, pick one main room for the family to gather in.
This concentrates your light and heat, making your resources last longer and making your home a less obvious target from the outside. Every hour or so, take a moment to safely and discreetly look outside from a dark window. Information is security. Knowing what's happening on your street is a major advantage. By hour 8, your home should be a calm, secure, and resource-smart island in a growing sea of darkness. Making it through the first 8 hours of a grid-down event has less to do with your gear and more to do with your mindset. That 4-hour wall we talked about isn't a failure of supplies for most, it's a failure of psychology. It's the collision of "it'll be fine" with the rapid decay of the systems we all lean on. The key to getting past hour 4 and through hour 8 with confidence is having a plan that you trigger immediately, overriding that natural impulse to just wait and hope. It's about understanding that the clock is real and that time is your most valuable resource in the beginning. By controlling your psychology,
Managing your communications, and securing your resources with discipline, you create a bubble of stability while the world outside is figuring things out. You now have the framework to stay calm and in control when others might be losing theirs. Now that you know how to handle the first 8 hours, it's time to think about the next 72. Click the links in the description for items that can help you survive. See you on the next one. The Last Transmission, signing off.